Hey everyone, this is Steve Biss here at Sleep Apnea MD. I'm pretty excited to be presenting to you guys the geofencing overview. This is completely new technology that not only other dentists aren't using, I can almost guarantee that, but probably most local businesses in your area aren't taking advantage of this yet. And I'm pretty excited to be able to offer this to the dental sleep community. Again, my name's Steve Biss. One of the owners of Sleep Apnea MD. Some of you perhaps met me before. We go to every single AADSM event each year. Perhaps we've worked together in the past. We've been in business now for 7 years, so we know quite a few people in the industry. I myself have actually been digitally marketing for over 15 years at this point. I started with SEO and worked into AdWords and social media. And now I'm real excited to be getting into the realm of geofencing because of the power and the way you can utilize it, which I'll be presenting to all of you throughout this slideshow here. I've also helped develop the physician referral program for sleep medicine. We've had a lot of success with that. That's an offline program that helps dentists to network with local physicians who can send sleep referrals. As I just mentioned, we do search engine optimization, and we have built hundreds of dental sleep websites. So I just wanted to give you a brief introduction of myself if you haven't met me before, and before we get into everything. Now, before I actually explain to everybody how geofencing works, because that's probably on your mind. Most people have no idea, they haven't heard of it, because it's rather new. And I can tell you right now that most dentists don't know about it, because last month when we were in Baltimore for the AADSM, before I was able to start actually offering it yet, I was mentioning to my current clients, and none of them knew it, and all of them were extremely excited to get into it. So before I get into that, I just want to explain to you why do you want to do this. First off, it's excellent targeted brand awareness, as you'll see through the presentation, and it can also have an excellent means of getting direct response, meaning having potential patients contact you and set up appointments. That is what direct response means. It's way smarter than TV and radio ads, way more targeted. You don't spend any waste really with using this kind of method of marketing. The reporting is excellent. We can get all kinds of stats, so we can see which of your fences are generating the most business for you and are giving you clicks, calls, and actually track physical patients that come to your office, which is really, really exciting and powerful, and something you need to know to make sure you can measure your marketing results. And last but not least, but you have no competition in your area that's doing this yet. It's going to be a disruptive marketing technology, quite like search engine optimization was about a decade or a dozen years ago. And so you're going to have a first crack at being able to start utilizing this method to get more patients in your area before anyone else. And just to let you know, we do work with this on a territory basis, which you'll understand why we do as I continue to go through this presentation. So with that being said, let's get into it. What is geofencing? Geofencing is targeting patients based on their real-world activities. So we have new mobile technology that allows us to connect our advertising with patients who have visited local physicians' offices and sleep centers, and really anywhere we want to specifically target. This efficient form of advertising helps us only target patients who enter our fenced locations. Okay, so that's very key in how we're utilizing this method of marketing here. As you can see on the right, we have what's known as a geofence, and we're actually fencing just the building that is the sleep center. Now, what the fence is, it's a digital fence. And the way it works is a patient, when they have their phone with them, of course, and they have their location-based settings turned on, which 90% of people do, when they enter the fenced location, we are able to pull their mobile ID, therefore now allowing us to display them ads, not only when they're in the fence, but when they exit the fence for up to 30 days. So that's extremely powerful. We're able to literally target people based on where they go. So we're combining digital advertising on the phone, which at this point in time, everyone uses their phone pretty much all the time. It's almost become a problem in society, some may argue. But nevertheless, we are able to digitally advertise, but based on where someone goes, which shows intent. If you think about it, someone goes to a sleep center, what are they there doing? More than likely, they're there addressing their sleep problems. These are the exact people that you want to show your ads to and build your brand awareness with. And these are the only people you really want to focus, your money on doing that with. Why waste it, on other forms of advertising where a lot of people who see or hear your ads will never have any potential to become patients. So it's a much more intelligent method of targeting. And as far in terms of dental sleep medicine, the best places to target are obviously sleep centers and then physicians' offices. Scaling it back one level, someone who goes into, who goes see the doctor, they're pretty health conscious. Again, these are people who you want to be aware of getting treatment. And particularly, you want to target the physicians who refer patients to you. Don't you want their patients to see your ads? And if they ask their physician, if they don't respond directly to the ad and call you directly, but if they ask their doctor, well, that doctor already sends patients your way anyway. So, they're going to give you a good word. And it's even a way, obviously, to start targeting physicians' offices who you currently don't work with. So it's extremely powerful in how we can actually target. It's kind of straightforward in that method where it's the technology is complicated behind the scenes, but the actual what we're looking to do is rather straightforward. We're taking our targeting down to an extremely granular level to really focus on people who have strong intent. So, just like I explained, how are these ads triggered? And what are the particulars of these campaigns? Well, once someone enters the fence that that I just showed on the last slide, we pull their mobile ID. So where are these ads going to be run? Mostly on apps. As you can see, there's over 600,000 apps that we can now start displaying your ads on. And these are all apps that are within, the App Store, the Apple Store, and the Google Play Store. So the vast majority of apps out there are now can now display your ads. But that only happens when they enter the fence zone. So that's the whole power of this here. We're only going to be showing these ads to people who have previously, essentially qualified themselves to potentially see our ads. And as I mentioned, those ads can be served for up to 30 days after the patient leaves the targeted zone. So they might not open their phone in the office, or they might not open a particular app that did have the ads, but it doesn't matter. They go home at night, before they go to bed, they're on their phone, and now they can still see your ad. Again, as I said, they have to have the location-based services turned on, but 90% of people do leave that on, because if you don't, you can't use GPS. There's a lot of apps that will not work if they can't detect where you actually are. So these are just an example of what the ads look like that people would actually be seeing. They're display ads, so they're graphics. There's obviously text that's put on there, but they're not text ads as you would get when you're doing, say, a Google campaign. These are display ads that will be showing in-app. There's as you can see here on the left, there's a wide range of sizes that we have to design when launching a campaign, so that obviously some apps will display certain size ads depending on how their user interface is laid out. As far as how the ad design goes, we work closely with your office. We do know what works, but if you have a very specific message or image or something that you want to put in the ad, we'll work closely with you and make sure that your message is getting to the right place. Also, we'll work with you to make sure that your landing page is sufficient for where the traffic is going to come after they click on an ad. I want to get back to going over some of the first slide before I started explaining what geofencing is. I want to go in a little more detail about why this is something that you want to do. As I said, it's excellent brand awareness and also an excellent way to get direct response. You want to build your brand and your brand awareness with the right people. That's an efficient way of doing things. That's any business, they can get much farther if they're spending their dollars where it counts. And to give you kind of a real world example, we know there's a sleep center. Someone's going to go there and do an overnight sleep study. More than likely, they're going to get prescribed the CPAP. We also know that there's a good chance at some point this patient is not going to continue wanting to wear their CPAP. These are the people you want your brand awareness to be built with. You want to ensure that it's being built with these people and limit it and focus it, like laser focus it to these type of patients. So obviously that patient might not react right away because they put their CPAP on, but we're going to continue to show them ads, and a couple months go by. Who do you think they're going to go to? They're going to go where the brand has been built. They're going to, they've potentially already called your office at this point and now no longer want to wear their CPAP. And then you can get the direct response from the people who, who see your ad right away and they know they don't want to wear CPAP. There's people we know, that obviously go get the sleep study and kind of dread the idea of having to wear it. This person might be at the sleep lab and we've pulled their mobile ID before they, are going to bed, and then they see the ad for the appliance, and they're someone who's going to be more motivated to contact you right away because they don't want to wear it, period. And you also want to consider, you want to build your brand awareness in physicians' offices too. You want to build your brand awareness with patients who have intent. So if you're going to the doctor, you obviously are health conscious. You also more than likely have medical insurance, which is obviously something that's important for dentists who are billing for sleep. So you want to build your awareness with the best potential people that could be patients. Like I said, you want to definitely target the offices that you currently work with, but you also want to target offices you don't, because not only can you get build more patients from targeting them, but you also might get the doctor as well. We've worked with hundreds of dentists over the years, and many of our clients over the years had good referral sources that were physicians, that were also their patient. And I'm sure some of you on this listening to this here have that same situation where you have people who send you referrals of their physicians, and they also wear an appliance. So not only can you get the chance of getting direct response and brand awareness with the patients that go to that practice, but if you do end up treating the doctor, now you also more than likely have built a new referral source. So not only are you building your brand awareness with patients, but you're also going to be building your brand awareness with the physicians' offices that were geofencing as well. So it's kind of a 2-for-1 with that effect. It's smarter than TV and radio ads. There's no other, it's just clear cut, a more efficient way to spend your marketing dollars. When you're doing radio or television, you're selecting a station or a channel, and you're obviously hoping that the demographic that you're targeting, frequents watching this station, watching this channel, or listening to this station. And sometimes that could be somewhat targeted, but there's going to be a huge percentage of the people who are hearing or seeing your stuff that would be considered waste, that are not potential at all. And this eliminates that quite significantly. Because we're only going to be targeting people when they enter these specific fences. So, we're not going to be spending that money showing ads to people who have zero relevance and more than likely will never react. You're combining that power of intent here. That's what we want. The reporting and analytics for running geofences is really, really good. So when we run a campaign, for an example, say you have 10 offices that you targeted, a couple sleep centers. We want to know which of those locations is performing the best. So the metrics that we're tracking are impressions. So that's when people view the ad. And then clicks, and then calls, because we put tracking code on the site so we can see the calls that are being yielded, or form submissions if they have a contact form that they fill out rather than calling. And then, as I said before, the really, really awesome thing is to be able to track physical visits. So when we set up a campaign, we set up our target geofences, but we also set up your office or offices, depending on how large your practice is. We set those up as conversion zones. So when a patient goes to a geofenced area and we pull their mobile ID, start showing them ads, they might have clicked, called, scheduled an appointment. When they physically come in, assuming they have their phone, which why wouldn't they come into your conversion zone, and we actually can track that metrics. Then we can look back and review the data and say, oh wow, so Dr. Smith's office or Dr. Goldman's office, they yielded 20 calls and 3 actual physical visits, so that we can really see which offices are performing better, and we can either remove poor performing offenses and ramp up the amount of impressions to the ones that are we're getting better traction from, or we can just continue to scale and target more offices. Obviously, the sky is the limit. Well, it is limited to how many physicians are in your area, but we can target as many as you'd like. And coming back, there's no competition for this yet. This is there's no competition in terms of meaning that your competition isn't doing this yet. I can almost guarantee that, because I haven't heard anyone in the industry yet even know what it was. And then when I explain, everyone's extremely excited because of the power of being able to use this kind of marketing, but no one's doing it yet. And you want to get on board before everyone else does. It's kind of akin to what search engine marketing was a decade ago. You might remember, this might even be you at some point, way back in the day when you were hearing about getting patients or leads from the internet. A lot of people kind of just turned the other way, but then at some point everyone started to do it because you realized that you needed to do it. Well, right now this is something that not everyone's doing yet. Big companies have been doing it for about a decade that have extremely large marketing budgets. Just recently, it's now been able to be more accessible to smaller businesses, hence why I'm able to offer this to you now. You might have noticed this kind of activity in the past with ads following you from certain places. An example for me is I see it quite often with big companies. I use the Waze app when I'm on the highway to see if there's accidents and such. But I'll get an ad from Dunkin' Donuts, turn off in 2 miles, and that's all geofencing. They're obviously doing it on a much larger scale because their brand awareness already is extremely sky high, and they have the huge budgets to be able to run giant campaigns. But now it's much more accessible to smaller businesses. So, this is the time to really get on it before everyone else is. And as I said earlier, it is territory based with the way we run it because, say I'm working with you and, we're targeting certain physicians' offices or sleep centers. It's not right that I also work with your competition down the street and target the same offices. So I could work with 2 people in the same town as long as they're targeting different geofences. So, if someone comes to me and, and really wants to blow this out of the water in their area and wants to target everything, and we get a big campaign set up to target, a bunch of offices and all the sleep centers that they possibly can, well then, obviously I'm not going to be able to work with anyone else in that area while I'm working with that particular client. So I'm sure you all want to know the pricing. As I said before, it's just now being accessible to people, in the smaller business realm outside of the Dunkin' Donuts and Starbucks of the world. Smaller businesses before would have to cough up 15, 20K plus a month, to start doing this. But I've worked out with the advertisers to be able to get it down for as cheap as $1,000 a month, and that gets you 100,000 impressions. So 100,000 different eyeballs viewing your ads from people who are going into physicians' offices and sleep centers in your area. For the first 20 people that sign up for geofencing, since this is we're just launching this service, it's only $1,000 for 100,000 impressions. However, after that, we are going to raise that cost to $1,250. So the first 20 that take advantage of it, you'll be locked in for as long as you want to do geofencing at that rate for as many impressions as you want to buy. So, if you want to go and buy 500,000, you're going to still have that same rate. And if you want to continue doing it for as long as you would like, we won't charge you any more. But that's only for the first 20 people who take advantage of that. And there is a one-time setup fee because we do obviously have to create all the ads for you. We have to do the geofencing itself. We have to work with you and the provider to make sure we have the addresses correct before we launch the campaign. So all of that, is done with the setup fee. We typically recommend starting for at least 3 months. Now, we don't have any contract set in place where it's a set you have to do a year or so. Like I know TV and radio ads, as I said before, make you sign long contracts We don't, but do keep in mind, this is part of the aspect of this is brand awareness. So we want to have that continued awareness with people as they're going through the phase of, wearing their CPAP and then realizing they don't like it. We want to keep that brand awareness there, so it's something you do want to continually do. Not only that, as campaigns go on, we're able to improve upon them with, changing the ads up. As I said before, adding or removing physicians' offices that are performing better, and stuff such as that to kind of tweak it more to get the most out of it. So what are the next steps? Anyone who's listened to this and is excited to, as excited as I am to start geofencing in your area, the next step is to contact me. Again, I'm Steve Biss. I'm one of the owners of Sleep Apnea MD, but I'm the one who's handling and getting all the geofencing set up. Some of you might know my business partner, Spencer Fryman. He's been at all the meetings with me over the years as well, but I'm the one handling and setting up all of these campaigns. So you just call and ask for me. The number that I have on the next slide does dial to my office, but it will also forward to my cell phone if off hours, because I do know that we do work with and have worked with many people on the West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast. So, I do want to still be able to talk to anyone off hours. So the next step would be to contact me so we can discuss, where you want to target in your area, how big your campaign, how many impressions you want. That all obviously depends on how many offices and how busy those offices are. Once we've decided that, then we can get the ad creation underway and launch the campaign. And then we're in the phase of tracking and measuring the results so that we can refine the campaign. Each month I'll send you the report, so you'll see all the stats, see how which offices are giving you better results. Here's my contact information. You can email me at steve@sleepapneamd or call directly 954-289-6012. And if for some reason I don't pick up, please leave a voicemail and the best time to get back in touch with you. Or you could also fill out the contact form at the bottom of this page and let me know the best time to reach out to you. Remember, we're only offering that pricing for the first 20, and we're sending this out. This information is going to be sent to a lot of people who are in this industry throughout the country. So if it's something that you are excited about and see the value in, which there's no other marketing tactic like this that can really bridge mobile advertising and people's offline behavior. If you're excited like I am, then please reach out to me, and we'll get your campaign started as soon as possible. I appreciate your time and listening to this presentation, and look forward to working with you.